Feral hogs are highly adaptable invasive species. When pressured by shrinking habitats, they tend to move closer to residential areas and farmland, creating risks that cannot be ignored. Ignoring their presence is not a safe option for local residents. Beyond carrying diseases, they are increasingly brazen in damaging communities. Our mission today is to re-establish safe boundaries, intervene selectively and legally, and prevent potential hazards from escalating. The wide, cloven footprints pressed deep into the damp soil led us to this densely wooded hillside. Feral hogs are highly adaptable invasive species. Human pressure has forced them to shift to nocturnal activity, hiding carefully in the brush during the day. We understood that without establishing a control perimeter here, the hogs would spill down once night fell, directly threatening crops and community safety. When an individual appeared within the controlled corridor, safety protocols were activated. A decisive intervention was carried out to resolve the situation humanely. This is the responsibility of a professional American hunter, to protect the community, maintain balance, and act only when truly necessary. After handling the initial hotspots, we moved down the hillside to get a full view of the slope. In this rugged terrain, technology became a key factor. Using high-powered binoculars and the iPhone 17's GPS, we spotted an individual moving quickly through the upper brush. Even though the target was in sight, intervention would only proceed once all safety conditions were fully confirmed. From the low-angle perspective, the hillside behind served as a perfect natural backstop. This action not only protected the farmland below, but also ensured that the operation remained safe, humane, and fully compliant with the law. The herding strategy continued to work effectively. We held our positions, ready to neutralize each successive individual being forced out of its hiding spot. While the support team was closing the angles at the base of the hill, Blake's group quietly set up a shooting position on the windy hilltop. Feral Hog Society operates matriarchally, and this experienced female acts as the brain, guiding the herd's incursions into the crops. A swift, well-timed decision was made to neutralize this leading individual. This action ensured the animal experienced minimal suffering while forcing the herd to retreat back into the deep forest, rather than continuing to damage the fields. Pressure from the hilltop forced the herd out of their hiding spots, moving down the valley according to the drive and block strategy. From the observation tower, we had an ideal vantage point to execute the critical step, target sorting. Even though they are an invasive species, we never act recklessly. Our control measures are designed to reduce pressure on the area rather than disrupt the ecosystem. Every decision is carefully calculated to ensure the absolute safety of other native wildlife in the region. Soon after, each dangerous hog passing through the cleared corridor was decisively stopped. You know, protecting the overall ecosystem is just as important as controlling the feral hogs. Once the forward team had stabilized the situation in the valley, we immediately initiated Phase 2, the pincer strategy to tighten the perimeter. Short, concise commands crackled over the radio, coordinating each group as they moved into key blocking positions. At the same time, maintaining constant radio communication allowed us to mentally map one another's locations. ensuring safe firing angles and completely eliminating the risk of crossfire. The objective was not eradication, but control of movement. Seamless team coordination funneled the hogs into a pre-selected terrain zone, one with the best natural backstop, where final interventions could be carried out with precision and safety. The drone from above helped us identify the final hidden spots on the hillside, areas that would be easily missed with the naked eye. Support teams, including professional hunting dogs, were deployed in a controlled manner to force the remaining individuals out of sensitive zones, rather than letting them continue pressuring the farmland below. We only intervened once all safety factors were confirmed: clear line of sight, controlled movement direction, and no impact on nearby residents. This is never a desirable situation, but with agricultural damage in the US exceeding $1.5 billion annually, selective control is necessary to maintain long-term balance. Once the mission was complete, the site was tidily cleared and resources were responsibly utilized. As the sun set, peace returned, and the lesson remained clear: timely management is always better than belated remediation. Just after dawn, a frantic scream rang out from a house near the forest edge, shattering the morning calm. A massive wild boar had stormed straight into the yard, crashing through the fence and flipping over the feed barrels. Dirt and debris flew everywhere. The beast was so fierce that no one dared get close. We arrived quickly, scanning for tracks and piecing together the trail. The goal was clear: take down this boar, or the whole herd, before it returned to cause more damage. The hunt was on, and this time, there was no room for mistakes. As we moved toward the tree line behind the village, a rumble broke out ahead. A full herd of wild boars burst from the undergrowth, kicking up a storm of dust. No time to hesitate. I signaled my teammates to hold their ground, took a steady aim, and fired the first shot. One boar stumbled and dropped. A few more went down under my teammates' gunfire, while the rest scattered deep into the woods. An opening like that, completely unexpected. This hunt was shaping up to be far more intense than we imagined. After the main herd split, we decided to break into smaller units and follow the fresh tracks pressed deep into the soil. Not far away, a lone boar had strayed from the group, moving cautiously along a narrow trail. My partner and I crept in quietly, taking the downwind side to avoid detection. The moment the boar stepped out from behind the brush, I lined up the sights and squeezed the trigger. A clean, precise shot. Smooth, efficient, flawless. While we were sweeping another patch of ground, a faint rustle echoed from the slope to our right. There, a massive dark shape hiding behind a stand of dead trees, thinking it was safe. Too bad for him, I'd already spotted it. When the boar made its move, I fired. The first bullet struck its side. It staggered, but kept running. Not this time. The second shot hit home, and the beast went down hard. No running from that one. As the animal fell, the team quickly scanned the perimeter to make sure no tracks were left unchecked. We moved along the slope, where the soil was still soft with fresh prints. Then, out of nowhere, another boar dashed across my teammate's sights. Instead of rushing the shot, he pivoted left, adjusted for a clean angle. Boom! One shot, right on target. Sometimes, being off by a heartbeat means letting the trophy slip away. The sun dipped low, its golden light filtering through the leaves, carrying with it that familiar scent. Wild boar still lingered nearby. We switched tactics, created soft noise from the opposite side to lure them in. It worked. A big boar turned its head toward the sound, moving right into our zone. I steadied my aim and took the shot as it hesitated. A little bit of cunning, at just the right time, can yield incredible results. The team was running on fumes by now. The captain signaled for one final sweep before calling it a day. That's when a faint rustling froze us in place, the last boar trying to slip away unnoticed. The captain moved fast, positioning himself perfectly, steadying his breath, gauging the distance, and fired as the animal shifted direction. The hunt ended cleanly. One final perfect shot. hadn't been home to visit my mother in a long time, and I was hoping to find a bit of peace that I had left behind. But on the second night, the barking of dogs echoed throughout the village. The crops were destroyed, and the pigsty was in ruins. Wild boar tracks were deep in the earth, then vanished along the hillside. Everyone said we were used to it, just closed the doors and waited out, but I couldn't ignore it. The next morning, I called a few friends, grabbed some hunting gear, and set out. Not just for the boar, but for this land, a place filled with memories, family, and peace that needed to be protected. It was only 6 a.m., but our team was already at the foot of the hill, quickly spreading out according to plan. After surveying the area, I realized the wild boars here travel in herds and rarely break away from the group. I picked a vantage point lower down the hill where I could have the best control when they appeared. Before long, the target entered my sights, and the first shot rang out, clean and accurate. The wild boar herd reacted wildly, fleeing in chaos. But no matter how fast they moved, they couldn't escape the cost. A few boars were hit and rolled down the hillside, clear evidence of a fierce but successful confrontation. We continued with our pursuit plan. After a while of deadlock, we used the GPS to quickly pin down and divide the positions for the blockade. Everything was set. We just needed the prey to fall into our trap. Sure enough, the boar herd appeared. The lead boar was taken down immediately. All that was left was the sound of gunshots and the panic of the remaining boars scrambling to escape uphill. John's team had set up a blockade at the top. A few minutes later, the mission completion signal rang through, a perfectly coordinated operation that exceeded our expectations. However, it seemed the noise had made the boars below more cautious. They quickly moved to higher ground. Realizing the situation had changed, our team didn't hesitate and rushed forward, not giving the boar any chance to escape. The familiar scent led us. Just a few seconds later, the boar emerged. The gunshot was decisive, and it collapsed, tumbling down the hillside. Our next move was executed with the help of our four-legged teammates. In every wild boar hunt, the hunting dogs are the most reliable allies, sharp-sensed, brave, and skilled. They not only track the scent, but also cleverly drive the prey into the perfect ambush position. Before long, the dogs had led the boar into our sights perfectly. As the large shadow appeared, I squeezed the trigger. A clean shot rang out, and the wild boar dropped, ending the dramatic chase. After our success, we moved to the next side of the hill, where dense bushes provided the perfect hiding place for the wild boars. I focused, moving cautiously, not wanting to miss any signs. Then, the huge dark figures emerged. A shot echoed, and the lead boar collapsed with a perfect hit. Despite staying close and trying to squeeze the trigger, the remaining boar easily escaped, leaving a deep sense of regret. The hunt couldn't stop now. If they escaped, they'd return, and the destruction would continue. We were determined to track them down to the very end, carefully following the slope of the hill with each step. This time, there was no room for error. As the distance closed, I squeezed the trigger. The precise shots hit the boar, ending the long-standing threat.
Today began like any other, until an alarm suddenly pierced the quiet. Without hesitation, Nick and his team sprang into action, instinctively gearing up and rushing toward the fields. No words were spoken, only tense eyes met and swift footsteps advanced toward the hotspot. Before them lay only traces, footprints etched into every inch of soil, marks left on the crops. Would they succeed in hunting down this destructive force? Stay tuned. What follows is a relentless battle about to unfold. Early morning, before the sun even dared to rise, the world across the Italian wetlands felt frozen in silence, utterly still. Only the soft, careful footsteps broke the hush, each step cautiously following the faint traces left behind. After 15 minutes of relentless tracking, a sharp crack of gunfire marked the fierce beginning of today's battle. The wild boar fought desperately to escape, but Nick's swift grip sealed its fate. The first prize of the hunt was swiftly secured in his hands. They pressed on toward the edge of the field, an obvious path the wild boars would take. While scanning the thicket across from him, a dark shape suddenly burst forth, charging into the field, ready to wreak havoc. But today, Nick was there. A gunshot rang out instantly, and in the blink of an eye, the beast was down. Another threat neutralized under the steady aim of a seasoned hunter. Before he could even reach to check, a familiar sound echoed from deep within the field. Just a few hundred meters away, without hesitation, he sprinted toward it, each step urgent, but his sharp eyes scanning every corner with a relentless focus.
Come on.
As he came to a halt and raised his gun to take aim, a wild boar stepped right into his sights. The cold crack of the shot rang out. The bullet found its mark, and the beast, powerless, collapsed on his right. While Nick was locked in intense battle, in another corner, James quickly spotted his target. His eyes swept over an open patch just in time to catch a wild boar charging wildly, as if fleeing from some unseen terror. Not giving it a chance to escape, James squeezed the trigger instantly. The beast tumbled down onto the dry grass. With that, a fresh wave of attack on this field. The journey wasn't over yet. The team quickly moved toward Nick's family orchard. Upon arrival, not a sound was heard as they silently took their positions, slipping into hiding spots. The hunters readied their guns, poised and waiting. 20 minutes under the blazing sun tested their patience to the limit. Then, the moment finally came for Nick. With the power of a single bullet, he cut off every escape route for the beast. What do you think of this shot? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. The hunters pressed on, step by step, even as the rain began to fall. Yet neither Nick nor his team showed any sign of slowing down. Focus sharpened to its peak as their vision grew blurred by the downpour. Suddenly, a wild boar darted across their path, but it couldn't escape Nick's keen gaze. A precise shot rang out, striking the beast dead on. A flawless move, halting razor-sharp tusks that threatened to ravage the orchard.
With the food sources in the forest running low, wild boars are forced to leave their shelters and venture into agricultural areas, causing significant crop damage. According to a report from the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, this situation results in economic losses estimated at billions of dollars each year. For this reason, we, the resilient hunters, are constantly finding ways to deal with and drive away these increasingly aggressive boar herds to protect our livelihoods. The hunt begins, all for our crops. Before the first light of dawn, the entire forest was shrouded in thick fog, presenting a significant challenge for the hunting team. Although we had equipped ourselves with specialized binoculars, visibility was still severely limited, making observation extremely difficult. However, with years of experience, I remained patient and calm, closely monitoring every movement. Suddenly, a dark shape materialized through the fog. No mistake, it was our target. I quickly raised my rifle, my finger poised on the trigger. A suppressed shot rang out, swift and precise. The prey dropped. The opening shot was tough, given the weather conditions, but we secured a victory. Taking down the first boar in such harsh circumstances was a feeling of satisfaction beyond words. Not everyone has the ability to herd wild boars into one spot, but that's exactly what we're doing. The boars are being driven into a tight area. Look at that! How should we deal with these aggressive creatures? This is how we, the hunters, eliminate a large number of boars, but it comes with considerable risk. At the right moment, I squeeze the trigger, sending the first boar crashing to the ground. Its fall causes the rest of the herd to scatter in all directions. The speed of the bullet can't keep up with the fleeing boars. As expected, I quickly team up with Jack to encircle the herd and take down as many as we can. Boom! The second shot hits, taking down another target. Perfect! We've given it our all. This was a fantastic display of teamwork. Exactly what's needed in a hunt like this. The dry season has come, leaving the fields barren, so the wild boars tend to move towards areas with running water. Despite their cunning nature, Wild boars are still driven by habits, and this stream is a prime spot, offering plenty of food and water, making it a regular destination for them. All Jack and I had to do was patiently wait and stay hidden. Suddenly, Jack signaled to me, and without a word, we both knew what to do. The boar revealed itself, and the sound of the gunshot was sharp and decisive, ending its life right there. Quick, clean, and efficient, leaving us with a satisfying sense of accomplishment. What did you think of that shot? Leave a comment below and let us know. There it is! I smell boar! Jack exclaimed as if he had stumbled upon something precious. In front of us was a whole herd of wild boars, engrossed in foraging, completely unaware. It was a tough situation since our team was limited in number, and we couldn't take them all out at once. But sometimes, it's better to take the shot than hesitate and miss the chance. Without overthinking, I chambered around, aimed precisely, and squeezed the trigger. Quick and fluid, the lead boar fell. This was a clear declaration of our commitment to protecting the crops. Meanwhile, on the western side of the forest, James had trapped a wild boar that was casually searching for its dinner. It was completely oblivious to its surroundings, lost in its meal hunt. James patiently waited for the boar to move into the perfect position. Now was the time. His finger tightened on the trigger, and the bullet shot forward. The boar startled, turning back, but before it could react, it collapsed. As we were packing up to head back to the village, the hunting dogs began barking loudly in the forest. They had driven a clever wild boar out of its hiding spot. This was the moment. We weren't in a hurry to leave. Instead, we got ready to take our positions. A herd of wild boars, a fairly large number. The opportunity had arrived, and we signaled to open fire simultaneously. But some of the boars managed to escape. Undeterred, James moved ahead and took down a massive boar trying to make its getaway. Just as it charged out, seemingly about to escape, the sound of a gunshot rang out. The deafening blast marked yet another victory for the day. The challenging hunt has finally come to a victorious end. This is a well-deserved reward for our teamwork and perseverance. How did you feel about today's journey? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay tuned for the next episode where we'll be hunting on the snowy hills, with plenty of exciting moments waiting for you. Goodbye for now, and see you next time!
Do you believe a farmer's entire livelihood can be wiped out in a single night? Here in Texas, feral hogs are a real nightmare for crops and livestock. We can't just stand by and watch months of hard work get destroyed. Night hunting isn't something just anyone can do, not because it's hard, but because it carries real ethical responsibility. In America, hunters are trained to follow one rule above all: 100% target identification. No shooting at shadows. No shooting at sounds. Thermal optics make sure every trigger pull is a responsible decision. All right, let's get started. We're fully geared up, legal rifles, next-gen thermal scopes, IR illuminators. Out in the fields of West Texas, a large heat signature pops up on the screen, a lone scout hog checking the path for the rest of the herd. Will it spot us before it's too late? I shift quietly, keeping the wind in my favor. Only when it turns its head toward the fields do I settle the crosshair and take an ethical, clean, effective shot. Nice shot. A perfect start. Taking out that scout brings huge relief. It stops an entire chain of destruction before it begins. What you just saw was only a warm-up. Not long after, my scope picks up another heat signature, this one moving slowly, cautiously, and much bigger than the first. It's heading straight toward the area where the scout went down. I hold my breath and lock the reticle onto the weak point of this thick-skinned animal. Hold on. Target controlled. Clean and precise. For us, accuracy isn't just skill. It's an act of responsibility to protect farmland from the most persistent pest in the South. While I handle the open field target, Mike's team swept through the thick grass. Hogs love to hide in tall brush, and to the naked eye, they practically vanish. But through thermal, every movement is crystal clear. Mike's team locked onto the location and took care of it quickly and safely, stopping them before they could push deeper into the cornfield.
Three, two, one.
We move nearer to a cornfield, and the sight through the scope is terrifying. A big sounder, easily over a dozen hogs, tearing into the crops like mad. If we don't act now, this place will be nothing but dirt by morning. This is where speed and accuracy must work together. The team splits angles, keeps every firing line safe, then moves in at the same moment to stop the destruction. In just seconds, the field is saved from what would have been massive overnight damage. No time to rest. Our spotter reports another group gathering in a grassy field a good distance away. We jump into the Toyota Land Cruiser and head out without making too much noise. Open terrain, low grass, perfect visibility. Thanks to the open field, tracking their movement becomes much easier. Once the animals enter our safe zone, the team moves in and handles the situation exactly by Texas hog control regulations. Setting the high-speed chases aside, we switch to a silent ambush near the tree lean, a bait site prepped with corn earlier. Patience becomes the deciding factor now. Soon, a few dark shapes appear, creeping cautiously, but hunger gets the better of them. Easy. Let the group up. Wait for it. A perfect trap. Sometimes a cold head and patience are the best weapons against trespassers who ruin farmland night after night. As the night grows late, we split up and hold watch at the automatic feeders, the hogs' usual stop before dawn. Targets show up one by one. Each shot is clean, controlled, and by the book, giving the nearby farmers real peace of mind. The last few hogs are finally taken care of, wrapping up a flawless night. Now the locals can sleep without worrying their fields will be shredded by morning. Dawn's breaking. We're exhausted, but seeing the fields stand untouched makes every bit of effort worth it.